Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Let the filibustering begin.
Welcome to Nerd Party.
Welcome to Filibuster. We are continuing our Prelude to Infinity War. Last week you heard Tristan Riddell, John Mills, and Sean Eastridge launching us with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. Now we are in the middle of Phase 1, and our Infinity Stone counter is still at 0.
Ding, ding.
I'm joined... yeah, we'll put that in the bottom corner of the screen that you can't see because it's a podcast. I am joined with some regular voices you might hear me with. I'm joined with Phillip Gilfus, who you know from Ceti Alpha 3 and Time and Space. Phillip, welcome to Filibuster.
Oh, I'm so happy to be doing this. I got my shield ready. I got my American flag. I'm so ready to do this podcast.
Well, did you get the memo, Phillip? Because we're actually going to be talking about Iron Man 2 first. So
hey, the shield is in Iron Man 2.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's debatable. But yes, and I'm also joined by Daniel Proulx, also from Ceti Alpha 3. Daniel.
So I'm not even going to let you finish my introduction, Darren. I'm fired up about Discovery. I have a lot of... Wait a minute.
Okay, guys, this is why we can't podcast together outside the show. It doesn't work.
We get to talk about Iron Man? Oh my god, I'm so excited.
We've never mentioned the words Tony Stark ever before.
Technically, Iron Man 2, so yes. But yes, Iron Man is featured in Iron Man 2 a lot. So,
Darren,
yes.
We do have a question for you.
Okay.
Where's me bird?
Oh, I got you bird. It's a bird. It's a Russian bird. Oh, jeez. Yes. So, anyway. So, yeah, let's launch into Iron Man 2. Yeah, you know. I don't think they're using thrusters. They're using whatever. But this came out
Repulsors. Come on, Darren.
This, we were just looking up because we were double-checking the order. I mean, not that we didn't know. But, you know, this came out in May of 2010. And like I said, we're right in the middle of Phase 1. I was talking before we started recording, this had a very Toy Story feel, not anything to do with Iron Man, but just because it was so close that we're going right back to an original character for the Marvel Universe, like Toy Story. You had Toy Story 1 and 2, and now you have Iron Man 1 and 2. That's all the Toy Story references I'm making. I promise we're moving on past that. But
don't make promises you can't.
Yeah.
We get two Iron Man here.
Look, the reason we do this podcast is because you have a friend in me. And so I think it is interesting, though, because you could almost say that Marvel stands on Robert Downey Jr.'s shoulders.
You could definitely say that.
I would say there were... In fact, I would say Disney says that every time he appears in one of their movies and makes it $1 trillion approximately.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that that's what happened. And, of course, you know, you mentioned this, Darren, that they went right back to Iron Man 2. I mean, Iron Man 1 was such a ginormous gamble and such a huge payoff for them.
It was.
I think that they were kind of in, like, they were almost shocked and surprised by it. So, of course, now we know of Marvel as this sort of company
has everything
together.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, with a huge plan. Like, this was like it for them. If this didn't hit it out of the park, they were done. And so they probably had to scramble for like, oh God, okay, people love this. We just need to we need to get back in there as soon as we possibly can. And so, of course, you get Iron Man 2.
Daniel, I don't know
what
you're
talking
about.
You know how we fix that, Daniel.
They had a plan the whole time. The writers were all like, trust us, Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, you know how to fix that, Daniel. Just start adding villains. I mean, the more villains you have, I mean, isn't that the formula? No, it's the Batman formula.
Traditionally has not been a very success. Look at Spider-Man.
I was about to say the Spider-Man, non-Marvel Spider-Man.
This follows Darren's rule of sequels, which is it has to answer a question from the first film. And the first film, the question was Rhodey going, next time, baby. And that's what we get. This is all built around, this is Rhodey's origin. Actually, no, it's not. It's not Rhodey's origin story at all. But, so let's go initial response, Phillip. What was your initial feeling way back 8 years ago when this was released?
Yeah, that's a long time. Honestly, too long to remember. But I will say, Iron Man is not always my favorite, both movie-wise and comic book-wise, but we're just sticking with movies. Loved Iron Man 1, and I think it was a great inaugural movie. I know you can argue Hulk, but we're not going to. So Iron Man was a great inaugural movie. But the revisiting, I'm like, okay. I mean, okay. There's other ones out there, right? We're doing other ones. We're doing Captain America. Oh, no, we're doing Thor. Okay, well, all right. Well, we're getting to Captain America, right? And so that was usually my thought. And it's hard, though, to look at this movie, in and of itself, because just having watched Iron Man 3 recently, I'm not going to talk about it, but it is like, oh, which one do I like? I'm like, which Iron Man do I like the best? And so I guess I will actually answer that. I think Iron Man 2 is probably my least favorite out of the three. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm not saying it's bad, but out of the three. So my initial is good, not great.
Yeah, I would concur. It's probably the weaker of the three, but it is fun. Like it's more popcorny than like the kind of seriousness you get out of later Marvel films. But so Daniel, now we're voting 1 to 3. Where do you place Iron Man 2, the one with his sidekick?
Well, no, hold on. There's a sidekick in Iron Man 3, but go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, his sidekick that is and also another Iron Man.
Controversial, like your opinion, Philip. I think it's pretty. I myself, who like cool characters like Iron Man and not lame characters like Captain America, also agree that the
Civil War
that the second Iron Man is definitely the weakest by far. But I agree with you, Darren. I still have fun with it. Like you asked about initial impressions. I was hyped going in because I was so blown away. I remember being so excited about Iron Man, the first one, and loving every second of it. So I was on board. I already knew like all the trailers were exciting. I kind of thought even going into the movie with the trailers and stuff that Whiplash was kind of a lame character, but
yeah, okay, so because we've had Iron Man 3 where we go into a lot of like Tony's psyche, and we have Iron Man 1 where, Tony is the biggest jerk in this movie. I think his jerk levels are at the peak in Iron Man 2, and it's, he's talking about legacy. He thinks he's going to die for like 90% of the movie, and he's just making bad decision after bad decision, and his past is coming back to fight him. And yeah, Whiplash is he's kind of like a semi-boss villain. Like he's the kind that you're going to fight like at the midpoint of the level, not necessarily at the end.
Oh,
but
mid-boss.
He's a level, he's a level boss, not a world boss or whatever.
But it's but it's still progress. And again, they're slowly opening up this universe. It's still very focused on a very few number of characters. There's not a million cameos or crossovers yet. We're building. It's only the third film of the first phase.
Asterisk.
In the year of our Lord 2010.
Yeah. Now, and I don't know. I don't want to jump ahead. Recasting. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. They
Rhodey.
changed Rhodey to Don Cheadle.
Which look, you have to do it. It's fine. And now having seen Iron Man 3, you get used to it then. But I do imagine like what's his name? Lordy, sorry.
Terrence Howard.
I wasn't even close. Terrence Howard. I do imagine him trying to do this role, which is a little weird because not having seen him do a more action-y role, it's a little different. But I'm like, Don Cheadle's fine. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like,
right.
Well, you introduced it in my mind, so I'm not going to not stay there.
I'm not an official source, but I from what I have heard is that Terrence Howard wanted the same amount of money that Robert Downey Jr. was getting for the second movie, and that wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. So, we'll leave that there. But
and Daniel, Gary Shandling introduced as Marvel character who will stay with us throughout several movies.
I was going to say his second appearance is by far his best one. Only because I love Hail Hydra meme so very much. It is so near and dear to my heart. But you're talking about now opening it up to a wider cinematic universe. Of course, we had this after credit stinger with Iron Man with Sam Jackson, but here he's in a much more active role.
Yeah.
And then we also get Black Widow, and then,
Right.
of course, Coulson as well. And a lot of people kind of... A big problem that a lot of people have with this film is that they're almost pushing a little too much too quickly. And I can see that. I can see that as a criticism, although upon rewatching it in retrospect, knowing what we know now about these characters and where they all go and how they all are now, it doesn't bother me too much anymore. It's fine. It does feel like the movie's a little busy, but not too much, I should say. Not crazy amount.
And I'm trying to remember, because I don't think I had very fealty to order in Phase 1. Like, I don't remember watching every movie in order, blah, blah, blah. So I think maybe this one I may have come late to, because I feel like I already knew Black Widow before I saw this one. And so it's weird to try to imagine, like, did you know that was Black Widow? It's just Scarlett Johansson. I don't know, I'm sure you did the way movies work now. But, to have her as that role and be like, oh, by the way.
I mean, we say it's the weakest, but yet, I mean, it had a budget of $200 million. It made $623 million. It did well, and it has a lot of memorable scenes, like the racing scene where he actually first encounters Whiplash. Like, that's actually, it's very visual, and that works really well. The Stark Expo, yes, the nighttime Stark Expo is a little more muddied, where it's kind of hard to see what's going on, but there's a lot of great.
The lasers
visuals
at the end of this, too.
Rhodey, get down!
Yes, that of course pays off as well in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
He pulls that same move in the Avengers. I was also going to say that the suit.
Oh yeah, the suit. Mark IV
is my favorite action scene. I think. It's up there with like the tank scene from the first Iron Man. In terms of like Iron Man action scenes, where you're just like, man, that is so cool. Like, that is amazing.
Because I remember watching the cartoon Iron Man, and when he did because he would often use the briefcase, that's how he'd get, and it would he'd pick it up, and it would kind of like Jacob's ladder fold itself open into like this tall vertical rectangle, and then it would kind of like 3Dify itself from being flat, and you would just kind of step into it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's how you do it in the cartoon, but the way they did it in the movie was great. I mean, it's literally his travel. And I mean, this is back in the day. It's still early. I mean, it's only Mark III, Mark IV Iron Man suit, so you still have, Mark like 35 or 58.
Well, it's 42 by Iron Man 3, by the way.
They jumped really far. Yeah.
He had trouble.
Well, what I'm saying is like when he lands at the Stark Expo in the Mark III, he still has to have that robot set of arms take it off of him. So I mean, we're way past that now, but this is back when he still needs help getting out of the suit.
Yeah, I think the problem is that it's a great scene, but it's sort of, I know this is like an ultimate insult, I apologize, it's very Transformers. Like, when you think about that scene, why are we at Monte Carlo? The Whiplash is easily defeated. Like, none of this really makes sense, but it's a cool looking scene, and I can't argue with that. So,
we haven't talked. I was just going to bring. We haven't talked about. You were again bringing up the larger Marvel universe, which I think you could probably call this movie. We see. I mean, I don't think we actually see him in the first Iron Man, if memory serves, but we see Howard. For the first time, which of course is
That's
a
true.
huge thing. And of course, then in the next movie, in Captain America, we get to meet him when he's a younger guy and all this sorts of thing. But this also sets the stage for what we know. I mean, even up to Civil War, up to the most recent film, second most recent film featuring Iron Man, this still has reverberations going through MCU. So it's a very important piece, I think.
I always had to question the timeline of like how old is Tony Stark if his dad was old enough to be in World War II?
I mean, he was a pretty grown man.
It doesn't really work for me, I don't think. But I guess neither here nor there. But anyway,
because you get a lot of things dropped. I mean, that Nick Fury drops that Howard was a founding member of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, we're still we're finding out what S.H.I.E.L.D. is. That's still
a really long
becoming
acronym.
a thing.
It's the Strategic Homeland Intelligence and something.
Inners.
And we also get Justin Hammer, again, villain of the week, Hammer. But he's so, because he's so awkward. It's just,
And again, I think it's almost layered too thick that I don't take him seriously. I mean, I know you're not supposed to.
You don't take him seriously at all.
How is he even in that position? Like, he's terrible and doesn't do anything.
He
right.
has a ton of money.
Like, wait, how does someone who's rich and bad get to be at the top?
Oh,
okay. So anyway, let's talk about the congressional scene.
Which is also fantastic.
That was funny because I do like the real.
I mean, it's real world implications.
Yeah.
That's what these movies do best.
Because I do like that thought of, if Iron Man was real, what does that mean? And then, if he's actually going around the world interfering or intervening, whatever word you want to use, what does that mean for the United States? Because he is coming from the U.S. There's some serious questions, and I do like the questions that are being asked. Obviously, does he play a senator or a House member? But whatever. Gary Shandling,
he's a senator.
Yeah. He's a jerk, but take away all the jerkdom. There are some serious questions he is asking. But then Justin Hammer, it's like, okay.
And that scene is so good too because it's peak Tony Stark as well. You know what I mean? Like, because we learn later, of course, what his issue is. But
alcoholism.
We've never reached that in the movie. But Tony has a very tried and true, I'll say, story arc in the Marvel movies of pride cometh before a fall, and we literally see this in all three Iron Man's, both Avengers so far. It happens a lot with Tony. It seems like they can't kind of get past that, which is fine. But it makes for such a good scene. I love that scene in the chamber of the Senate, and it's really funny.
Yeah, and he just takes over the screens, and he's just like, oh, is that you, Justin? And it's just
I wanted to mention too. I love Sam Rockwell is a fantastic actor, and I think part of the reason we don't take him seriously as the audience is because he's so good at playing that doofy kind of like, her to her. He seems to stumble into his treachery and evilness, as it were.
Well, he's the nerd. He's the nerd to the Whiplash's jock, where he's actually afraid of him. But he's like, but I'm rich and have power, so you're going to do it. But it's like, if you put them alone in a room, like, he'd get his butt kicked. Like, he's just so insecure, so compensating in everything he says and does.
I want my bird.
We'll get you a bunch of birds, all right?
And I was watching in like the opening credit sequence as he's like making his arc reactor, and it's really interesting because obviously they're drawing parallels, to Iron Man, like when Iron Man was making it in a cave, and Victor like bites the insulation off the wires because he doesn't have a wire stripper. Like he's literally making it out of nothing, but because he's got the plans from his father. And it's they are building. It's a solid not redemption, but solid parallel. Like this is someone who didn't have your privileges and benefit of your father and his company, but he basically could have even but they went down. But they didn't make the best choices. So it's
right. Yeah,
it would be interesting. We haven't seen any reference to. I can't even remember his name. Whiplash's father, Funko, yeah, Papa Funko. We haven't seen any references to him, as far as I'm aware, in the wider MCU. And if he was around, early on with Howard, you would think that we would see him in all these flashbacks, or at least get some sort of reference to him.
We get his name a lot on blueprints, but that's. About it.
Yeah. Oh, and that too. That of course brings up. We should talk about it since Philip wants to. The shield that Iron Man.
No,
it's so funny. This was amazing. This was the first reference. Well,
it was a reference, but it's not Iron Man's shield. It's
Captain America's shield.
Sorry, Captain America's shield. Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was. It was the blueprint for it. It was the blueprint.
Oh, it was the blueprint for. Okay, that makes. Because I never got that. People were like, "That's his shield," and I'm like, "It looks super cheep, and it's got like parts missing in it." Okay, that makes way more sense.
And then, does it say go to Wakanda for anyway?
And it also, of course, pays. Also, kind of gives Tony that little extra oomph in the end of Civil War when he says, "That's not your shield. I belong to my father."
Right.
Right. That's true.
And Daniel, I know how much you love daddy issues, and so that's what this movie is mostly about. And I don't know how well I make sense of it, and maybe I'm not supposed to, or maybe I'm missing something. In other words, Tony's perspective is that his dad was always working and never, paid attention to him. Of course, nobody ever pays attention to Tony enough, do they? But anyway, but then we get this sort of like, I'm now talking to you on the camera, Tony. You're the greatest thing I ever did. And I'm like, except I'm not going to spend any time with you.
Really wanted to talk to. Tony Howard Stark, not Walt Disney. It's totally not, Tomorrowland.
That scene and the congratulations, Mr. Stark, you've now created a new element are the most cringy scenes in this movie for me. It's so
I'm sorry,
bad.
that's not how elements work.
No, I know. It's so
Element is literally number of protons and neutrons, number of electrons around a core, and that number just goes up. It's really not. I
mean, there are some. I'm not this smart. I know there are some artificially created, but not a lot. It's near the end.
It's just a cringy scene.
But it's still going to fit somewhere on the periodic table because the periodic table is literally just okay, this one has 7 electrons. This one has 8. This one has 9. I could get a different molecule or some other combination of things, but an element, I'm like,
and then of course, I don't know, as many things as I've seen in Star Trek and Doctor Who, how am I not going to make this logical leap in this movie? But
is it trilithium? Is it a trilithium weapon, Philip?
But here's the map I made, which obviously I know you'll figure out. No, we wouldn't have. This is the most intricate plan.
Scooby-Doo.
Could any of you have written it down somewhere? Really?
Yeah. No, that was.
He had his notebook, and then it stopped,
and he just says,
March, 3rd March, 1993. It's a Civil War reference.
So that was cool. The whole, I love whenever we're in Tony's garage and this whole 3D holographic computer interface that's also a voice interface. It's great. We all want that room. It's, but it.
With that robot.
I know
with Dummy.
I'm not trying to get ahead, but my wife was in distress in Iron Man 3 about that robot.
That robot's amazing. He's got so much character. It's great.
He literally saved his life in the first movie, so that's got to keep him around.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, any other thoughts wrapping up on Iron Man 2? War Machine. We haven't talked about War Machine a lot, which we get. I liked how it. I don't know if that's how it came in the comics, but I like how it's the Mark II with stuff added on. That makes a lot of sense to me, and it's just all militarized up, and I love how Rhodey's in it. And
we talked about
nice
how
drunk
ineffective.
scene.
The fight scene. Yeah, it's okay.
Give me a sick beat to beat my buddy down.
That was silly. That was over the top.
There was a lot of silly in this movie, and not a good kind of silly.
But driving the convertible with the Tomorrowland map as you.
In the back. That was fine. What I was going to talk about was, we talked about how you don't take Justin Hammer very seriously in this movie, but he is the one that essentially, retrofits the Iron Man machine into War Machine. So he does, and in that scene when he's explaining what all of these different weapons do, these are Hammer weapons that he's developed,
right?
That the bunker buster and all this sort of stuff. These are things that he seems to be pretty knowledgeable with them. So and then of course War Machine becomes kind of a pretty cool, awesome guy here. So
I liked the end fight where War Machine is shooting with his gauntlet shots, and the turret gun is just doing its thing. It's just there's a bad guy here. Oh, there's a bad guy here, and that. And then that makes sense.
As they work together, you hear combo, combo, combo.
And then when one of them gets hit, combo breaker.
Finish him. I think that's always the thing about Iron Man movies, and this is just me being super critical, so ignore me. But after a while, when there's 50 million Iron Man suits floating around, it gets a little okay.
They're not suit, drone better. Can salute.
Well, if we're gonna head toward the end of the conversation, we have to talk about the Stinger. It's a Marvel
the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we're going to be talking about the movie that it leads into here, but we see a hammer in the Coulson and a hammer in the desert. So what could it possibly
situation
be?
in
And
New
we
Mexico.
do hit a scene where Coulson, when he leaves, he says, "I'm being sent to New Mexico,
Something more important or whatever.
something more important than you." And I mean, overall, this movie, not Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Tony Stark, all the same person.
I am Iron Man.
This is his low point.
Yeah.
Like mentally, like he is just a wreck in this movie. But I'm glad we kind of got past that, because yes, we deal with some of his other issues later on, but we never go back this deep. Now maybe in the future we will. We have other Iron Mans coming up, I'm sure, but I think I'm glad that we're past this phase of like him just being drunk in the Iron Man suit and just not who we need him to be. Like, he actually starts to step up once he becomes an Avenger.
Well, the problem is he doesn't ever knows how to rely on other people, or always pushes them away. So he has Brody and he has
Pepper Potts.
And so, I mean, this is her, her development, right? She's now CEO or whatever of Stark Industries.
Yeah, CEO.
Which I think was a good move for them to do.
And I think it's maybe throughout a lot of the movie, I mean, you always know she's competent. But you're always like, well, maybe. But I think that last scene where she's sort of like, in front of the computer, like, I don't know how anything works, but I'm in charge, and this is what we're doing. You, do that. Tell me what's going on. What happened. So she definitely shows that she's a leader there.
And a lot of implied death in this. I mean, like, we never really talk about, like, the massacre at the Stark Expo, but that was a thing. I mean, people definitely got hurt, in that event.
So there's a scene in that bit where Iron Man comes down, like they're about to shoot a little kid.
Oh,
and
yes,
in
the toy Iron Man.
And
mask.
yeah, he's in the toy Iron Man mask, and Iron Man flies down, stops them, and flies away. He says, "Go run, kid." I can't remember what he says.
It's like good. Or he says, "Good job, kid," because he shoots from behind him.
Right.
Because the kid was putting his arm up as if the kid had done it.
Stupid kid.
Kind of.
I think it has been
Thinking
actually
Iron Man.
confirmed that was Peter Parker. That is Spider-Man himself.
I mean, it's a retcon.
It is a retcon, of course.
But
That was
hey,
never
we will
planned.
totally go with it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but that's cool, and that makes sense why he, kind of obsesses over Tony Stark later. I mean, anybody would, but as being a superhero. But
wait, I just noticed that poster in the back, Daniel. Is that a Tony Stark poster?
Okay, anyways, moving on to Thor.
Did you replace the artwork? Well, actually, one last thing I wanted to say. I don't think I knew who Elon Musk was back when I saw Iron Man 2, but now obviously...
He's one of the geniuses like Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk. Didn't you know that? Is that from Cochrane?
Well, in the 24th century, we know who he is, but yeah, I totally did not realize that he had a... Oh God. That he had a cameo at the racing scene where he talks to Sony. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's even more fitting. I'm glad they had that little cameo in there.
It's so funny too because it feels like it was slightly ahead of its time for 2011 or 10, whatever it was. Like, I mean, I know he was kind of gaining traction at that point, but he's not anywhere near as recognizable then as he is now. So it's funny.
I mean, he's the real life Tony Stark. Basically,
well, and there was a lot of rumors floating around that he
was
Tony
Iron
Stark,
Man. I thought Elon Musk had his bodyguard. Is that where you?
Wait a minute, none of this makes any sense.
Well, he sent his Iron Man suit up into space on the top of his SpaceX rocket.
To go to Mars. He's gonna be Mars protector. Okay, I get it.
Some sort of Martian manhunter.
Ooh,
all
crossing
right.
universes.
So then, a year later, we come to Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Wow.
Not really known for his superhero movies, but,
and not known for directing things he's not in.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm surprised he wasn't Odin. But this one, again, it's early on. We're right in the middle of phase 1, and it's kind of like, okay, we're going to do Thor next. I think there was a lot of raised eyebrows, but, it's a family story. It's a story. I mean, it's about royalty. It's a family about royal families and being worthy. And it's very Shakespearean in that way because he has a lot of experience doing that. So I think as far as the direction they ended up taking Thor, I think Kenneth Branagh was perfect for how they introduce him. But yeah, this was released in May in the United States of 2011 and did, fairly well. Not as much as Iron Man 2, but a fairly good film. I still enjoy the first Thor movie. What are your first thoughts, Daniel, on the Odin's Son?
Thor was tricky too, because before this you had Iron Man and Iron Man 2, of course, and the Hulk, if you want to throw it in there. One of the things that were, the kind of the compliments that were given to Iron Man, especially the first Iron Man film, was it's grounded. It's very, it's like, if you could create this kind of high-tech suit, how would that work? And, Philip, the themes that you were talking about in Iron Man 2, if this was the real world, how would this, this would have political consequences, and how would we handle that, and all that sort of thing. Thor is a whole different can of worms. I mean, like, how is this whole different realm? And so,
look, you call it science and I call it magic, but it's one and the same.
They kind of hammered that point home a little heavy-handed in this film.
Really?
Oh man, I wasn't worthy to lift that joke. But.
Oh boy. So, and the other problem too, like Captain America, you have a character that's kind of inherently lame. So, I'm trolling now. I'm trolling, guys. I'm trolling. Find your Mjolnir. Find your Meow Meow.
Darcy.
Going back to it, I love Darcy. I have a massive crush on Darcy, so we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But going back to these movies is way better than how I remember them in a lot of cases. I think maybe it's just in retrospect, how the character arcs that these people go on, but I always enjoyed Thor. I would never say I loved it or anything like that, but it's fun, and there's a lot of funny moments in it, and there's, again, you see the origins of all these things that we've just come to take for granted and already know. And this was kind of treading new ground. How do you introduce this character? Oh, well, you constantly say science and magic, but it works, and it was good. I would say for a first outing for a character that was untested on the big screen, it was a good effort, and it's not a bad film.
Yeah, I think with Thor and Iron Man 1, I suppose I should say, there are parallels. You basically have jerk who likes to fight becomes superhero. And so, it's not that, it is repetitive, but it's not in a bad way. And of course with Thor you get, which you usually get in the second film, the, oh no, I've lost my powers, which I've established. Now I must prove I am worthy, even without them. See every sequel ever of a superhero movie. But anyway,
he doesn't have them in this with this one. He doesn't have Mjolnir.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Usually that's a sequel, but this is the first one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And so, and so you sort of get everything combined. I mean, because there's no Thor origin, because he's already Thor.
I think they also, it's important. Thor is actually really important in the greater scheme of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, also because we have to push it past Earth. Because, if we just stayed on Earth, we wouldn't have any of, Guardians of the Galaxies, Doctor Strange, if that was the first time we got magic, that's really out there and high concept. So you need to expand the audience's concept of what this is going to be about, and they're progressing. It's the fourth movie, and they're like, okay, now we're going to use magic and realms and lore and things like that.
Thor.
And Thor.
It's weird, and I don't want to get too far into this because it's not the scope that we're in right now, but I agree with you. Thor is kind of the middle ground between,
like a Milnar, Midnar,
like a Meow Meow, between between the technology that we get in Iron Man and on regular Earth, and also the technology that we get in Guardians. And the only other, the real hard magic came in Doctor Strange. And I think you're right, it was a stepping stone to that sort of broader, sort of this universe has multiple layers. There's a lot going on here. You don't get ever comfortable because you're going to learn new things every movie, and there's going to be different aspects to this universe. Ant-Man with the quantum realm, or Black Panther with Wakanda. There's always going to be different parts of this universe that you're not aware of. So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, Yeah, because there's a contrast with Thor because you're in this great different realm, and then you're on like small desert town, Nowheresville, America, Earth,
and it's. I mean, the overall plot. You have Thor.
We
being
found
banished.
this convenient studio backlot that you can destroy.
Backlotia USA is threatened. Who will rise as the champion?
Little known fact: they rebuilt this, or they used this same set for Men of Steel as well. So, no, that's not true. But it looks exactly the same. The end scenes for those movies look
right. Well, the part I think where he breaks Loki's neck.
No,
no, that's not what happened.
Well, that's true. Let's also introduce us to Loki, the villain that won't go away because everyone loves him so much. And I'm not saying Loki's bad, but it's just.
Of course he's bad.
I don't
That's why he's the
see
villain.
where's the love for Whiplash. Where's Whiplash? I mean, can't we bring him back?
Loki definitely has a special place among Marvel villains. There's no doubt about that. He's not come back once or twice or three times.
I mean, he's also the brother of Thor, so I mean that's
he's adopted.
Yes, he would. Yeah, that's right. That's a good reference.
spoilers for later. We can't say that. That's
we know he's going to. He will. Yeah. Okay. We won't give spoilers, but.
Yeah, but it's still an awkward. I don't know. Like I feel like no, I'm the king, guys. Totes like Odin. He said it. Like I know he's in a coma, but and he's fine. And Thor's gone. It's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah, but I'm your king, and they're like, doesn't feel like you're the king.
Asgard feels way. At least that first scene. Where he's coming in, being all smug and smarmy, and blah, blah, blah. I'm god of
high-fiving.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Asgard
yeah.
feels way bigger in that scene than in all of Thor Ragnarok. Sorry, Philip, you're not gonna be able to say anything on this one, but I don't know. It just
it's
weird.
It's also interesting. What's I gonna say? The Asgardians, it's also, we're learning about, okay, well, these are an immortal group. They're not invincible because they can die, but they don't age in the same way. It's interesting. It kind of makes me think of I don't know the name of their race, but the Golden Race from
C3PO?
Guardians 2. No, Guardians 2. Where
Adam
they're just
Warlock
like,
race?
they really think highly of themselves, but I feel like we're only seeing a slice of life of the royalty. Like, we don't see the everyday, I'm just an everyday Asgardian, and I'm like a blacksmith, but I'm immortal. It's like, but I choose to just make weapons for the, like, it's just, it's a strange dynamic, this race and these realms, because they almost don't feel like planets, they feel like countries or cities at best. It's not like Earth. I mean, yeah, I get why everyone wants to go to Earth because it's a whole freaking planet. I mean, Jotunheim feels like a continent, maybe a country. Asgard is like a city. I mean,
yeah, I would not want to go to Jotunheim because it's very cold there. But even Asgard, like you say, it's like, again, I think they were leaning more heavily into this is a magic place. But as time goes on, as we learn more, like, especially in Ragnarok, like, you can travel there in a spaceship. This is no longer a magical realm. This is
you can fall off the edge of it.
Well, look, I think this is part of the controversial flat Asgard theory.
Except at least those people would have...
No, it's the round Asgard theory because everybody knows Asgard is flat.
And we also, we should talk about characters because we get to see... Oh, help me... Heimdall, the actor who plays Heimdall, which is
Idris Elba. Heimdall,
yeah, which I think is such a
Odin
crazy role for Idris. Because I'm trying to remember at this point. I guess maybe at this point he wasn't huge in America yet. But
I don't think so. He was just kind of rising.
Yeah, because I mean, I think Luther had already been on in the UK, but this is
he hadn't taken out the kaiju yet. So.
But like again, but even that's a small role per se in the first one. But I'm like. It's so weird to see him in these quote-unquote small roles. I'm like, dude, you're wasting this guy. I mean...
Well,
that's one of the things. You look back on it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was Idris Elba. Like, because you didn't know when you saw Thor, but then 4 years later, you look back, and you're like, you got Idris Elba to be Heimdall, like, in 3 scenes? It's
don't get me wrong. In that role, he does a lot. It's not like he's just like, I'm here and I'm not going to do anything. He's given all he's got. But...
And Thor's mom is Renee Russo.
Right.
I mean, she's a pretty big actor too. You know, I mean, obviously with Odin, you know, you have
that's
you
the
know,
get
Anthony
there.
Hopkins.
That's the get.
You know, that's where the money. Like, he hasn't run Westworld yet. I mean,
You get him for 3 movies at least.
Yeah.
and you have Natalie Portman. You know,
You
which-
mean Natalie Borman?
Oh man.
Sorry. I have a grudge
Look,
against her.
you
character.
call it science, we call it magic, but I'm just telling you,
I call it
it's one
acting.
and the same. Oh gosh,
She's.
Is this an Attack of the Clones thing?
It's not an Attack of the Clones.
is
thing.
this a V for Vendetta thing?
I think that was probably her best movie I've ever seen her in.
Yeah, I think she did well in that.
But in this movie, she is the least charming of the 3 characters in her group. Like I
True.
like Eric Selvig a lot. He's really
I mean,
interesting.
look how hot his children are.
I like Darcy because she's.
Yes.
I have a crush on her, and,
Yeah.
and she's funny. She's also funny. And there's nothing interesting about Natalie Portman's character at all. There's nothing. Why would Thor even care? Again, he has Lady Sif, this awesome, badass Asgard warrior.
Right.
Like, he's been best friends with since kindergarten or whatever, and he doesn't. I don't know, man. It's just it's such a silly thing.
Well, I don't think either of them. Like, I don't get why either of them like each other. I mean, other than Thor just likes any. Like, you could just argue that Thor likes any pretty thing that crosses his, front view. Okay, I'll give it to him. But even her, like, it doesn't make sense. I think Jane she seems driven, focused. Like, she's not like, oh, look, tee-hee, guy with long hair. He's all mine now. I'm like, no, that's not Jane, I don't think. Like, she seems a little more focused than that. But, I guess we all have our weaknesses.
Yeah, maybe like when she got her doctorate in particle physics or whatever, she
And
didn't get to
Rosen
see
Bridges.
any beefy guys or anything like that.
Yeah.
And maybe,
Or hit him with a car twice.
Well,
That's
I'm
funny,
hoping
that's
that we get a lot of callbacks though to Thor. Like, I would love the Destroyer, the automaton, to show up in like Infinity War. I think that would be awesome.
Well,
although
I didn't.
Is it one of Stark's though?
no, well, actually no, but now I think about it though, that was stored on Asgard, which is I don't know if they can get to it.
But like
now
with the Destroyer,
in
like
the state of the country address.
But, like, I didn't catch this reference until recently when I watched Avengers, but the weapon... I know it's not Avengers, but anyway, just for a line. When Coulson, dies, he's carrying a weapon, and he's like, we built this after the Destroyer came.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't connect that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, because it kind of has the same... Like it lights up on the inside and then fires, like the Destroyer does.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying like they based it off the tech, or is it more like
I think
we
it was
need
to
a
combat
deterrent
it.
in case it
Yeah.
comes back?
Yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, so we get Asgard, we get Earth. You have, he's not as big a jerk as Tony, that's for sure. He does humble himself, but
Well, he's very simple.
it's
he's
very simple.
He's very, what's the word? Because he's very, like, high. Always smiling, even when he's getting hit
Right.
by cars. He's always, like, open to new things.
he has affluenza. He's been so wealthy,
Affluenza.
and
Oh, wow.
and he just doesn't even know what it's like to be mortal. He's like, you petty little mortals and your limited lifespans. Ha ha.
Your breakfast cereals.
Another.
Give me a cat that's big enough to ride. Yeah. There's a lot of fish out of water humor, of course, in this film, but it's appropriate. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Hawkeye. This is
We
also
do,
the introduction of
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye,
So in
which
Iron Man 2,
feels
we get-
like a tiny bit player, like just kind of like Black Widow. Like, this guy is going to come back in a big way, but he does.
in Iron Man 2, they're setting up clearly for the Avengers at this point. Iron Man 2, they give us Black Widow. Here we get Hawkeye, and yeah, these people become very significant down the line. He doesn't even do anything in this movie.
Yeah, I was about
He
to say.
climbs some scaffolding and sits there.
Yeah, he
and-
goes up in the little bucket, like cherry picker bucket, and then he's got his bow, and then he's just waiting.
Which he
And
doesn't
then
even
Thor
use.
can't pick up the hammer, so he's like, "Oh, I guess not."
Yeah, but
Yeah, that was another thing. Like, I get it that Thor's Thor, but still, I feel like, considering he wasn't actually Thor-y, he pretty much beat up S.H.I.E.L.D. pretty easily, You need to send those folks to retraining. It was like when Coulson was interrogating him. I forget the phrase he used, but like, you just made our agents look like a bunch of, whatever, movie ushers or whatever,
Movie ushers. But, yeah, and it also has a lot of different words. I think that's one of the difficult things that is sometimes hard to process with Thor. I mean, you have Jotunheim and Bifrost and Mjolnir and
Rainbow Bridge. Meow meow.
It's a lot of different. It's a lot of different things to absorb. I mean, we know most people know who Thor is and maybe Odin, but beyond that, like you're basically got to crack a dictionary, like a Norse dictionary, to understand. But they do a good job of introducing all of this. But it's still
it is
a learning curve.
It is a bunch of movies in one because you sort of have the Earth setting, which is kind of its own movie. But then you have sort of the Asgardian stuff, and even when they go back, there's still a lot to do of Odin, coming back and breaking or destroying the Bifrost, and then what that means for Asgard's access, and blah 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 blah.
I do really like the scene, and it was one of my favorite scenes originally, and sticks out to me now too, when Thor and Loki are on the bridge together, and Thor just puts Meow on Loki's chest.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know what it is about the Mjolnir physical comedy. I just love it. Like when he puts it up on things that to hang up and it just falls down, or the whole bit in Ultron when they're talking about who can pick it up and why. How
and it moves a tiny bit for
Captain America.
For Captain America, and he's like, oh, wait, no, I'm good.
I love all of that stuff. It's so funny to me, but.
It's because one of those simplistic things, because like it's, Loki, even though he can be extreme in his villainy because that's his job, he also can serve as comic relief because think Hulk and Avengers. But like how can you stop Loki? Like boop, done.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's more about his villainy, its trickery, and his intelligence that you have to defeat, not him physically. As soon as you get into a fight with him, it's kind of over.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, and he only has his Asgardian powers in this one. I mean, he has his daggers and swords and stuff and trickery, but he does not nearly as powerful as we see him later when he starts to get boosted by other things.
Well, I was going to say it's interesting. And not that I need an explanation for everything, but it is that his trickery, if we're going to use that word, powers, like, seems random. Like, okay, can anyone else do that on Asgard? Probably not, because they're all from Asgard. But
So this is my theory.
Can Laufey do that? Is that what you're saying? Is it a?
Because I was thinking about this too, right? Why? So Thor is just an actual biological son, presumably, of.
Rene Russo and Anthony Hopkins, yes.
Odin and Odin's...
Well, though, I don't know. That may be his second wife. You never know with these older guys.
Okay, presumably. Okay. And Loki is just an adopted frost giant.
Mm-hmm.
Right, a little frost giant.
So I'm thinking, who gives them whatever ability they have? Like, is there like a sorting hat? For, like an Asgardian sorting hat? And
well, Loki does wear a lot of green... Wait a minute.
He's a Slytherin. I'm curious. Like,
it's not a frost giant that wasn't mean or wicked. That wasn't sort of.
Oh boy. Hey, you know what? This film was directed by.
Professor. Yeah.
Professor.
Which you can read about in several of his books. Gildry Lockhart.
Lockhart. Thank you. Yes. So I don't understand who gave them their abilities or why they have them, but clearly not all Asgardians are the god of mischief or the god of thunder or the god of whatever.
Breakfast cereals.
All right. Any other thoughts on Thor before we get to our post-credit scene?
Well, I think with Thor, I, like you said earlier, came into this with like zero expectations. I'm like, they're making a movie about Thor?
Before Captain America.
What?
Thor.
Was Martian Manhunter not available? I get it. It's a different universe. It's a joke. But I was like, why? Who likes that character? But watching this, and you're like, oh, Thor. Okay. All right. No. I got it now. And so I think it sort of raised like a lot of like, wow. Because I think this helped prove that, well, and this is me, I'm not saying for everyone, that Marvel had a little touch of magic. Because you're like, I was not expecting Thor to be this captivating. So what do you got for me next? Because then it makes you wonder when they start reaching to the grab bag of Marvel characters.
Right.
You're like, Ant-Man?
They already started with Iron Man, which, I mean, people don't remember. Iron Man was not a super well-known comic book hero before 2008. He just wasn't. So we get... And, we do say before Captain America, yet months before. I mean, this came out maybe 3 or 4 months before Captain America, the first Avenger. But at the end, or any other thoughts, Daniel, before I hit the last credit?
No, I think that's a perfect segue.
So in our
Infinity Gem counter for this movie?
We're almost there, because
Okay.
we got to see it in the
there.
post-credit scene. So we see Selvig is taken to a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility where Nick Fury opens a briefcase and asks him to study the mysterious cube-shaped object. So I know next week they're going to be saying they had the first showing of the Tesseract, but nope. It was here in the end of Thor. So yes, the Tesseract.
Oh wow, there it is. I heard it. That was the counter.
Yes, that's our counter. So the Tesseract, otherwise known as the Space Stone, it's blue and it can transport open portals and move people and things through time and space. TARDIS. Yeah. No, sorry. But yes, so now we have our first Infinity. We don't even know we're even heading there. I mean, we're so naive back in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
No idea what's coming.
Well, and of course, you get the tease though, the significant tease where he's going down into the basement area of this zone. And by the way, I don't know if this is intentional or not. I imagine it's not, but it reminded me, especially because Sam Jackson was there, of the bunker from Jurassic Park, where he was eaten. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So they go down there, and Nick Fury says to Selvig, "Hey, a lot of smart people think your work is great, and we need you to work on this thing. And this thing is made of legend, and blah 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 blah." And of course, you see Selvig, and in the reflection of Selvig, you see Loki, who says, "Oh, that sounds interesting," or something like that. And then, of course, Selvig mimes him or mimics him. So we now know that he's under the influence. So we know, at least at this very early junction, well before Captain America, that Loki is involved in some way of getting a hold of the
and
first
Loki's
Infinity
not
Stone.
gone.
And Loki's not gone, right? He's not just falling through space forever.
No, exactly. Yeah. And so we're starting to... I mean, we're still building towards the Avengers. I mean, that's the first goal of Phase 1. But, I mean, we haven't even seen beyond that. We don't even know where that goes.
You can't start without one more character, so...
That's true. That's true. So so we've gotten through the third and fourth of Phase 1, Iron Man 2, and Thor. Now next week on Filibuster, they're going to be discussing Captain America, the first Avenger, and Avengers, the end of Phase 1, and that'll be Lee, Matt, and Sean again bringing that to you. But yes, it's been fun filibustering with you three, talking about something beyond Star Trek, something that's becoming its own universe. Prime timelines. Once they get to prime timelines and mirror universes, then we can actually have another good discussion about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Awesome.
And like we stated before, Philip, you can be found on Time and Space and Ceti Alpha 3. Where else on this internet could people find you?
They can tweet me at @NCPublicServant, #MakeMineMarvel. Also, we also keeping track of Stan Lee cameos?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So let's see. I don't remember. Iron Man 2 was...
Iron Man 2 was...
They said he was Larry King.
Yes.
Like he's not, but they're like, oh, look, it's Larry King. But I think it's the point that he's not. That he just looks like Larry King.
For Thor?
He was the one, he was in a pickup truck trying to
pull
yes.
Mjolnir. Yeah.
There we go.
So.
All right. So we got to have our Stanley right next to our Infinity Gem.
And Daniel, after, besides Ceti Alpha 3 again, where can people find you online?
People can find me on Twitter at the username OneUpDan. That is the number one, not the word. As in, Captain America may be the first Avenger, but he is not number one.
Oh, them's fighting words. Give the man a shield. And if someone wants to find me, they can, again, find all three of us on Ceti Alpha 3, our Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. And they can also find me, Darren Moser, at drsci-fi.com. All right, gentlemen, till the next time, this is Filibuster.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.
Welcome to Nerd Party.